Representation in media can either be a curse or a blessing. It's always nice to have someone in a show to relate to in some way. Where it goes wrong is when you add in those characters solely for relatability, or it's historically inaccurate, or just simply doesn't make sense. When you're simply doing it to appease someone. For example, that means you're just blatantly trying to appease to someone. And it's this type of thing that haunts people every day throughout media. I think a consensus that a lot of people have come to is that people don't want a rebranded, new ethnic version of a character. They just want a new character all in all. A notorious failure of this type of inclusion is obviously The Little Mermaid. Everyone disagreed with this, and not because they're racist, as some would accuse, but it's like a South Park episode. A version of this that was actually successful was Spider-Man, more specifically Miles Morales and Into the Spider-Verse. The idea that anyone can wear the mask. Whenever you see a video of someone cosplaying something and the character is, and they're not the same skin shade as the character, everyone in the comments is like, oh, you're Mr. Incredible, but black. And I guess some characters, there's to not get around things like that. I do acknowledge that I'm also only talking about black characters so far, but just bear with me. But don't forget to subscribe. We're gonna get back into the video. But I have 421 right now, and you can make it 422 if you just press that button. Alright, back to the video. But where the real problem strikes is when creators go for appealing to the masses over prioritizing good storytelling. If a character is saying something not to another character, talking to the audience, then you can come off as preachy. But some characters like to assume that some characters are low-key a certain way, such as when you think a cartoon character is a certain race. Like SpongeBob is definitely white, Darwin is black, and usually if a character is any other race, they usually specify it. It's usually pretty obvious if Samurai Jack is Asian, or like Apu in The Simpsons. Don't play dumb. I don't even watch The Simpsons and I can tell. I guess with some characters it's much easier to tell because culturally, we've been able to pick up on just these black traits. When media started trying to be more inclusive, not now, but back when it started to actually try to do that, they started off with the black characters because in at least American media, they were trying to integrate black people into more things. They were trying to go through integration, both culturally and societally. And also, Princess Bubblegum may be made of gum, but occasionally speaks German a lot. Another character is Mighty Rainicorn, who only speaks Korean. You could only guess that once she opens her mouth. It is simply fun to add differently contrasting characters to media, to a show. Which is probably why a majority of the characters I'm talking about are black. Sorry about that. But I'm prioritizing the quality of the video over inclusion. You see what I'm doing there? And many directors do not think in this way. But if there's a group of people who are saying that certain characters are black or certain characters are gay, then there's another group of people who are denying that, in which brings up another much bigger problem. The reason people project themselves onto these characters is because they desperately want to feel included. So the only right thing to think is, oh, we should just include them. But if you do it unnecessarily, then it's just, or in a bad way, or in a way that seems forced or even preachy, people hate it even more. And that is not how you integrate a minority or type of person into media or at large culture. So the answer to this, but it's almost as if they treat it as a normal part of the show other than like kind of stopping the breaks. Like they kind of make you dwell on it. It's kind of hard to explain, but you can kind of tell when a director wants you to focus on something a little longer than anything else. They want you to focus on the fact that this person is some minority or they're a homosexual or something. And things like that can distract you from good writing, but there usually isn't, which makes people mad, which gives reasons for people to be racist, which gives reasons for people to be homophobic. And it's proven when you follow all these rules, then make the product good, people don't seem to care because they're not supposed to care and make it a big deal because it's not supposed to be a big deal. I am Panamanian, I'm from Panama, and I tell people that and they're like, oh, you're from Africa, usually because I'm telling that to Americans who can't point out where Panama is on a map. Panama is in South America, so I'm Latino, and because my family's Panamanian, we speak Spanish, if that wasn't already clear. Now, being black and Spanish speaking, I felt like I was kind of like a hybrid. You're gonna laugh at this, but like it felt like I didn't really exist because I'd watch things and I would see black character, but I wouldn't see a black and Spanish speaking character. And the first real character that was like that I saw was Miles Morales, and I really did feel included. Stuff like this has a real effect on people, but it hurts even more when you do it wrong. It's another lazy way to do it. Like, for example, I made Mulan, but I'm gonna give you your Mulan, so it's just Mulan but black. What was even the point of remaking it? Black Mulan doesn't exist. exist, thank goodness. Best Disney princess, by the way, I don't care what anyone says. And also Mulan cross-dressed and was part of the plot, and could barely even tell. But I am obviously not the only one who felt invisible. Up until from 1st to 5th grade, I did not even know that Arabic people existed. The only connection I had to that were immigrant students who I was friends with in school. It goes to show people just don't know, especially Americans. The American social studies, that's what it's called. The only geography you learn about are the 50 states or 51 states, and the only history you learn is the Revolutionary War over and over again, and maybe if you're lucky you'll learn about World War II. And that's why everyone thinks Americans are dumb, because they don't teach you. You only start learning actual life things once you get to college. They only don't know because you didn't show them it. I swear I didn't know the Middle East existed. And I mean, I feel like some people could relate that they didn't think or didn't realize certain things were real or even where they were on the map. Every American who knows where countries are on the map is very likely self-taught, like 99%. Kimiko from The Boys uses sign language. The way they portray things in media can affect how people portray things or perceive things in real life. These people making all these films and cartoons can make the world a better place. And when they fail to do this, especially with these minorities and however socially unaccepted they are, you know what I mean. The impact can be ruined with it failing. It could give actual racists a reason to be racist. And it's failed so many times that that's the world we live in now. To the point where if someone sees a reboot of an old show but the character is now black, then they now pass it off. And if all these characters are so culturally important, you know, the way how you'll see those crazy party buses with like Captain America doing backflips in Mexico. These characters are so widespread that, and people want more diversity. Ask any Bleach fan about Yoruichi and the floodgates open. And every time I stop to think like, oh, it's not that big of a deal, it kind of is. The reason people don't realize that it is that we're just so comfortable with how it is now. It's just nice to have a diverse cast, but remember to actually make them a good cast. And that's really it. It's not a lot to ask for. It's more of a societal, unconscious thing that we accept that, like, white people are, like, the normal... Like, it's true, people think that, because that's how it is in media. Whenever it's some other race or some ethnicity, it's like, oh, they got a flavor, or they got an accent, or whatever. But having more diversity is good, because it combats that type of thinking, that type of thought that a lot of people, a significant amount of the entire human population, have, even though they may not consciously think it or not. That's the real power of media. Everybody sees it, really. That's how you change the world. So maybe the solution is to just tell a good story. Don't put in the character to please someone else, or please the masses. There's a reason why Tom Cruise plays a doctor in Eyes Wide Shut. It's important to the plot. He wouldn't have found out that he was being lied to about a girl being alive because he went to personally check up on her that she did not have a pulse. It was integral to the story. Or you just make a character gay and make it have no importance to the plot, and that's fine too. It's just a relatability type of thing, I guess. But it'd be really relatable to me if you subscribe. I could relate a little. By the time you're seeing this, I am once again making and editing videos. I am back. Yeah. I'd like to make an announcement. I will now be uploading weekly. Big change to the channel. I used to upload like, every 10 days? Like about 3 times a month. And to celebrate this schedule change, I will be uploading a video that's Halloween related, or at least subtly spooky, every week of October. Every Tuesday, basically. Yes, this one is Halloween related, because this subject is scary enough in itself. So October 1st was representation. On the 8th, I'll do a video about Bleach. On the 15th, I'll do a video on Jujutsu Kaisen. On the 22nd, that one will probably be about Saw, or some horror movie film series. And finally, for the 29th, it's a mystery. You're not gonna know it. You're not gonna know I'm gonna talk about it. And yeah, that's gonna be a very special video. Never done anything like that before. I have 421 right now, but you can make it 422 if you subscribe right now. We're almost to 500, and you could help me on that road by just pressing the button. It's free, and it's the best way to support me. See you in the next video, next Tuesday, on the 8th. This has been a Quad ZXY Classic.